While the Astros wait to take on the Padres, Chas McCormick isn't one of the big boys, but he is one of the big boys. We'll talk about this and so much more on today's Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you when you're not talking down on Chas McCormick?
Hey, hold on. I didn't talk down on Chas McCormick. That was not me. Hey, we'll clear the air, okay? I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at H-Town Wheelhouse. You can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
Guys, thank you for making us your first listen. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Go and give us a big fat thumbs up and go and hit that red subscribe button. It takes a second, and it takes a second to hit the like button. Just do it. Please do it for us, please. And go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and become an everydayer. Somebody that listens to our podcast every day and just become part of the Locked On Astros Nation. And guys, this episode is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB or enter promo code LockedOnMLB for a free water bottle with any order. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you. So Brett, we were going to focus mostly on this Padres series, but then the Athletic had to drop this bombshell of article. And like, if there's no context to what you said to open the show, it's like, wait, what's going on here? Why is Brett hating on Chas McCormick there? But there's a reason for that, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But guys, we've got a lot to talk about. The Astros are coming off this historic series where they dominated the Rangers 39-10. They hit 16 home runs, but now they return back to home where they have a -7 run differential, and they've got to somehow find a way to score these runs that they're scoring on the road at home. And I know I joked yesterday that Astros fans should go ahead and start screaming cheater or something like that just to make it seem like a road game. But the Astros just got to find some way to win at home. And I think it's going to be Michael Brantley being back in the lineup more consistently. And I think that the confidence they got playing the Rangers, because the Rangers are not a slum of a team. They're a great team. And yes, Adolis Garcia did go on IL today, and I hate that for them. I mean, you want to beat the best. You wanted to be the best. You want to beat the best, and you wanted them at their peak efficiency. And unfortunately, he did hit his knee when it was. I think it was Michael Brantley's home run, but
it was on Michael Brantley's home run. Yeah, he had jumped and he came down wrong. So, yeah, you hate to see that, but look, we're out of Arlington. I went and watched Bryce Patrick's Locked On Rangers today, and wow, he called it the worst series ever. He is down bad. He's just like, hey, let's just look forward to next year. The Rangers' soul has been taken from them. I mean, that was a beat down. So, the Astros beat the Rays. This Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde mode that they're in has got to end at this San Diego series. And we'll get to that series in the third segment here. But before we do, Chandler Rome, who is Dusty Baker's best friend, I'm pretty sure Chandler and Dusty go have drinks after games because they're that close and they really like each other. I'm sure they send each other gifts on their birthday. There's just this mutual respect between Chandler and between Dusty. But of course, I'm joking if you know anything about the clubhouse fodder that goes on. Now, look, the Astros haven't really had a guy like in other cities. You'll see guys in New York, you'll see guys in LA that really kind of catch fire. They'll do something to maybe like a Mad Dog, right? They'll be a polarizing figure. Chandler Rome is really kind of stoic when he's in person. You know, we've talked to him both. You know, good dude overall, but he's all business, and he is a true journalist in the truest sense of the form. He doesn't care what people think about what he writes. He writes and he tries to find the facts. And all year, you, myself, and everybody else has asked, why is Chaz not playing more?
Right.
Well, we found out at first from last week, he said, well, it's easy if you have Julio Rodriguez, which is interesting because let me tell you where Chaz McCormick ranks with Julio Rodriguez in 2023. Chaz has entered Wednesday with an OPS of 50 points higher than Seattle superstar center fielder through 38 fewer games. He also has a higher batting average, a higher on-base percentage, and a higher slugging percentage. And his defensive metrics even put the two in the same category, the same range, okay? So McCormick, that suggests, well, he would get more playing time. Wrong. 6 Astros have taken more plate appearances. 7 have appeared in more games. And so the question remains, Dusty Baker, why is he not in there? Okay.
Hey, let me know when you need me to do the little sounder. Okay.
Go ahead and bring it.
Okay, hold on. I wasn't ready. All right, here.
Thoughts by Dusty.
So as to characterize his relationship with Baker, this is what Chaz McCormick said before we get to Dusty, okay? Right now we're okay. Hold on. It's really all about winning each game here on out. No distractions were good. Now, Dusty Baker, when he was asked about Chandler Rome, he said he ain't a big boy yet. After Wednesday's 12-3 bludgeoning, it's hard to be a big boy right out of the gate. What is this? Chaz's 3rd or 4th year? That's not right out of the gate, but whatever. What he says the big boys are Altuve, Bregman, and Tucker. Those are the big boys. The other boys are approaching big boys. So I didn't know there's a category big boys and approaching big boys. Now I understand. I totally respect Altuve, Bregman, and Tucker. Okay, they're the big boys. I get it. But why? So it says to suggest McCormick doesn't play at all would be disingenuous because he has started 42 of Houston's 50 games since the All-Star break. So that's true. Then he says, I've been with Baker. This is Chaz. I've been with Baker a couple years now, so I know his agenda. I know that he likes to play everyone. Obviously, I want to be out there every night, but he does a good job. Obviously, you want Yainer Diaz to play all the time. He hits the crap out of the ball. I think he does a good job with good matchups. But Dusty Baker continued, and when he said he's not a big boy, this is what he says. It's not all about OPS. It's not all about hitting. And I'm a hitter. It's a total game thing. If you're going to win, you know what I mean. You want to give yourself as many options and categories to win the game. Now, hitting wins the games usually, but other areas of the games is what loses you one-run games. And don't do this and don't do that. I know everybody wants Chaz to play. Now, with that being said, I don't know what that means. I don't speak Dusty. Dusty says things that I think he says too much. I think Dusty tries to over-explain. And you're talking to a guy who uses a lot of words and a lot of life, okay? But Eric, I don't know what to make of this other than it sounds like there's a rift, but I don't think there is, okay?
Right.
But he goes on because people in the organization have told Chandler off the record they're frustrated because Chaz is not playing all the time. Dusty doesn't like his weight gain. So while Chaz is not a big boy, he's a big boy. He's gained too much weight. He's at 220. But you know what he's doing at 220, Eric? He's absolutely crushing the baseball. He's chasing down baseballs in the outfield. Yeah, he didn't have the best arm, but he's playing his best ball. So what do you think, Eric? Do you think this is much ado about nothing? Do you think – I think Chaz McCormick plays a lot in the playoffs. I think he optimizes the lineup in the playoffs when it really counts. But this just seems odd. Is this Chandler picking issues with Dusty, or is this maybe a real thing in the clubhouse that's been brewing all year?
I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that there's been some internal discussion. I don't know who is having this discussion. I wouldn't think it's like Joe Spada or anybody in the actual locker room, but there may be somebody in the front office that's saying, yeah, I would like to have Chas McCormick. If you look at the numbers, he's one of the best center fielders out there. But according to the big boy status, Jeremy Pena, he does not deserve to be playing every day. Why the hell was he playing last year every day? He's not a big boy.
True.
I mean, is it the fact that there's other people that can play that position? That's why he's not able to wear the big boy pants. And so I just think that just because maybe he gained a little bit of weight over the offseason, I mean, we've seen Bregman gain some weight in the offseason. That didn't cost his job last year. Yes, his offense struggled, not last year or a year before. It was one of those years where he packed on some weight, but it was muscle weight. But he did slow down a little bit offensively. But I don't know. This just sounds weird. And then I know in a second we're going to talk about some other comments that you said Chas McCormick said about Diaz and why Diaz isn't playing more. And so there's just a lot going on here. But this is a team that is in first place in AOS. It has one of the best records in the American League. And I guess we are just, I'm going to say it. If it's about, I don't want to say it, but if it's about being overweight, what's going on with the catching situation? If that's the issue. I mean, if you're going to say
that's the issue, you're right. You're right. If that's the issue, there are other guys on the team that I think that you would think would need to be addressed. And like Powered by Plant says, too much meatloaf. You know how Plumber says, "Ma, where's the meatloaf?" I mean, look, Chas maybe needs to slow down on the meatloaf, but you know what? No matter what's going on with Chas, no matter what he's eating or consuming, he can have bird dogs because bird dogs make you look good. That's right. They have stretched khaki shorts. They are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. They fit way better than regular shorts. Look, if you wear bird dogs, you'll look like 212 Chas, not 220 Chas. You'll look like 207 or 217 Maldonado, not 230 Maldonado. Bird Dogs also uses an anti-stink, sweat-wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. So if the manager turns up the heat on your playing time, grab some Bird Dogs. And look, I love Bird Dogs. I've got 3 pair of shorts. I've got a pair of joggers. I've got the tech hat they sent me. I absolutely love the Bird Dog line. They're phenomenal. They're good for dates. They're good for golfing. They're good for an evening out, going to the pool, working out, or just hanging out with your bros. All right. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB and enter the promo code LockedOnMLB at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle. It's hot out there. It's 100+ degrees. Why not get the Bird Dogs water bottle with the Bird Dogs shorts? Use the promo code LockedOnMLB for your free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise. And the Astros do play the Padres on Friday at 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros. You know, Eric, and I think sometimes in Dusty trying to explain, like I said, I think he means well. I don't think Dusty meant to say that Chas isn't like, how do you say he's not a big, how do you say that he had, I mean, I think he's earned it, right? And you make a very valid point. Jeremy Pena wasn't a big boy, but he played every single day. You didn't go, well, we don't have Carlos Correa to throw out there every game.
And he struggled
we don't have Francisco Lindor. I know, but what I'm saying is, he didn't throw out examples in other positions. Yordan Alvarez, 2019, they didn't hold him back. He definitely wasn't a big boy other than he's 6 foot something and he's a big dude. But that's why I think sometimes these things come across to the fans. And we're not trying to create an issue where there's not an issue. But I think these kind of things, the fans hear it and they either are astonished or they just don't I don't believe it. It doesn't make any sense. How are you going to get onto a guy for his weight? I mean, I just, it's not like he came in at 320, dude. I mean, come on. I mean,
Bartolo
he gained
Colon,
8 pounds.
He pitched for so long he was a big fella. Babe Ruth, he pitched, he hit for so long. He was a big fella. Cecil Fielder. There's many examples of guys that pitched.
He pulled out Cecil Fielder. I love it. Yes.
Like
Cecil
there's a
Fielder.
lot of people out there that
man.
were big fellas, and they still were able to play baseball. Chas McCormick, when I look at him, I don't like, you know what? He's overweight.
That was, Chas needs to eat more salads. Because he looks healthy. He looks, and look, even Chas did a good job addressing the situation. Chas didn't create drama. Chas did not go at his manager. And the thing is that we can't slight this clubhouse for is the players do not throw Dusty under the bus. The players fall in line. They have Dusty's back. And even when Dusty says things that I think kind of sound a little snide and a little cutting, the players don't ever react. I think that's a smart move, number one. Number two, it just gets old, man. And maybe we're spoiled because we have such a great team. But Eric, I saw these because he's not a big boy, but then he criticized or he's critical of his weight, but he's too big of a boy. It's like all I could think of was Roy D. Mercer. You must be a big and old boy. How big and a boy are you? Kind of thing. And so I just whatever. What is it? Was it for clicks? Was it a good article? I think it was a good article. Was it for clicks? Maybe. But even Ken Rosenthal retweeted it. Interesting stuff within the Astros clubhouse here from Chandler Rome. And I'm like,
yeah. So if you look at what's going on with the Astros, I think that what they need to do from here is they need to put their best lineup out there. And eventually, whatever's going on with Dusty and Chas McCormick, and I think Yainer Diaz, I'm going to be honest here. Yainer Diaz is not necessarily just a Dusty thing. The pitchers really want to throw to Martin Maldonado. They have this comfort level with him, and they want to throw to him. And the fact that he's been hitting a lot better recently, Maldonado has, that doesn't help the fact. But it's like, I think Yainer Diaz, his playing time is going to be very limited at this point, because especially if Abreu's I don't think he's going to have 2 home run games with 7 RBIs every day. But if he starts hitting a little bit more regularly, you're not going to get playing time at first base. You have Brantley back. You have Alvarez, who's going to be playing a lot of DH. You're not going to have a lot of place to play Diaz except for catcher. And the pitchers like throwing to Martin Maldonado. They don't care what the stats say. They like throwing to him. Just like if you had a teaching aide, Brett, and you got comfortable with that teaching aide, all of a sudden they change up the teaching aide, and all of a sudden you don't like that person. You're not going to feel comfortable. It's going to throw off your whole teaching year. You're going to be like, this feels uncomfortable. And you're going to be like, can I have this other person back? That's what's going on with the pitching situation. And I know as Astros fans, we look at it as like, well, offense, you got to score runs. You got to do this. But at the same time, you got to think about the pitchers. The pitchers have to feel comfortable. If they're not on top of their game, then they're not going to pitch well. Yes, they're going to suck sometimes. Yes, they're going to have bad games. But if they feel better with Martin Maldonado behind the plate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jay asked me here, he says, Brett, do you think this is in the club? This is clubhouse basically controlling it, or it's innate, talking about whether Chas McCormick does not go back at Dusty or make remarks? I think that's Chaz's character. Chas comes across to me as a genuinely like a good guy, like someone who is above the fray, someone who is not going to get petty or small, even if someone were to go at him. He had reason to be upset at the beginning of the season, coming off the World Series catch, coming off what he did in the postseason, to be upset at not being played. So I think if anything were to come out, it would have come out early in the year. But the end of the article does leave this. Dusty Baker also adds another reason. And Chandler kind of put this at the end. Maybe it was the end of the conversation, but it's at the end of the article. Remember to always read to the end. Michael Brantley coming back has something to do with it. Baker said again, denying Chas McCormick's weight is making an impact. Dubon's play in center field has something to do with it. We're trying to win ball games. This ain't about any particular guy except the big boys on the team. If I was a reporter, I would say, but I thought you said Chas was a big boy. No.
Not that type of big boy, Brett. Come on.
No, I know.
Read
I'm
between
just
the lines.
saying.
Read between the lines. But also, we have to understand that Dusty Baker's old school. He likes to get everybody playing time. Jake Myers, you get playing time. Greg Kessinger, you get playing time.
But old school is they weren't in shape. They smoked, drank beer, ate hamburgers in the clubhouse. They weren't healthy. They were big
I'm not
boys.
justifying it. I'm just saying what Dusty Baker is thinking.
I mean, if a dude wants a freaking Whataburger after he gets 2 home runs, let him eat a dang Whataburger. Like, who? Come on, bro. Anyways, I'm joking. All joking aside, slow news day, right?
Yeah, when this
outside of the Rays completely failing to beat the Mariners, lost 1-0. Thanks. So now we're a half game up instead of a full game, which is fine. So worst case scenario, if the Astros can't capture a win Friday, they'll be tied. But you hope that, like someone said, hey, let's just do sweeps the rest of the year. Hey, let's just win out. That would be so fun, right?
So we're facing Blake Snell tomorrow. That's going to be an interesting matchup. We'll have to talk about that in a second. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's had like one bad start all year where he gave up 6 runs. Other than that, he's given up 4 or less, 4 only one time for every start. So he's actually been having a pretty darn good year. So we'll have to talk about that. We'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about the rest of the matchup, and we'll talk about what the Astros need to do from here. But this is definitely a interesting time of the Astros season. And if you want to get into the action, when I say action, let's talk about FanDuel. FanDuel is great. It's something where you football started. I was watching a football game earlier at Hooters. I know this is going to lead into our next live read, but it was just great to see NFL football back in action. And if you want to get incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now's the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with offers you don't want to miss. What will the Astros do versus Padres? How will JP recover? Will he? What will the Astros do? Altuve, will he have another 3 home run game? Martin Maldonado, is he going to have a 2 home run game? So there's so much that you go out there and with FanDuel and do. So FanDuel, official partner at NFL, and go ahead and go to FanDuel.com/lockedon MLB.
All right, so listen, if you want to watch the game, go hang out at Hooters. Listen, this weekend, you can hang out with us September 9th at the Baytown Hooters. Eric and I will be there. We'll be doing a pre-game live podcast. We will have giveaways. We'll have World Series rings to give away. We will have bobbleheads. We will have Astros tickets. It'll be fun. So come hang out with us. And why? Because Hooters always makes you happy. And look, I went there this week. I'm telling you, top tier smoked wings, phenomenal. You got to get them. And look, Eric's even discovered the Blue Moon drafts lately. $3 Blue Moon drafts, $9.99 Michelob Ultra pitcher. That's amazing. There you go. And thank you, Eric. September 7th, which is right now when we're talking. See, if you missed it, then you need to go next week, because every Thursday night they have Thursday night karaoke after Thursday night football at the Hooters in NASA, and they have happy hour till close. So check it out. Great brew, great wings. They got great desserts, the world famous Hooters girls. So make sure you go hang out. Tell them you're there from Locked On Astros, and they'll give you a free basket of fried pickles. And the Astros do play the Padres on Friday, 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Each and every pitch you can catch the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros. So, Eric, you mentioned Blake Snell. Blake Snell's 12-9 this year, and he's a very good pitcher. He's opposed by Hunter Brown. I believe Diaz will be catching. People are asking us about the lineup, but when we look at the people in the Astros lineup that have had success, I'm pretty sure you're going to see Brantley because he's hitting 667 against him. Bregman's hitting 357. Chaz, big boy, is hitting 500. Tucker's hitting 500. And Altuve's hitting 333. Abreu's only 231, but he's got a home run. You've got 1, 2, 3. You got 6 players that have at least 1 home run off of Blake Snell in their career. So it looks like we're going to have a death lineup for Friday night.
Yeah, but if you're looking at the current pitching power rankings, Blake Snell, according to MLB, is ranked up at top. You have Justin Steele, then Garrett Cole, Spencer Strider, then Koji Senga with the Mets, then Sonny Gray, Max Scherzer, Zach Wheeler, Kyle Bradish, Freddie Peralta, and Cole Reagans of the Royals. Cole Reagans, he's the guy that the Rangers traded for Aroldis Chapman.
Did you mention Blake Snell in there?
Yeah, he's number 1.
Where's he ranked? Oh, he's number 1.
Yes.
Well, okay. So where's Max Scherzer ranked?
He's number 7. And no,
he's number 7. No, but listen, he's number 7.
And no Framber Valdez.
Eric, he's number 7, and we just crushed Scherzer. Scherzer owns the Astros. We just crushed Scherzer. I don't care where Snell's ranked. If this team comes out and you've got Yiner in there, you've got McCormick in there, you've got Brantley in there. Dude, Brantley is just hitting out of his mind right now. This team is hitting really well. I really have a hard time believing that they're going to have a repeat outcome like they did against the Yankees in this series. Right. I really have a hard time believing that.
A lot of my friends at work today were having this conversation, and one of them was like, Eric, don't expect the Astros to go out there and demolish the Padres like they did the Rangers. And we know this. We know that they're not going to go out there and hit 16 home runs. That was something historical. That's something that you're probably only going to see once every, 20 years in a 3-game series. But what we want them to do is just play better baseball at home. This is something that they've struggled to do all year. It's something offensively, and they just can't keep up with their pitching. So what we want them to do is just play a little bit better baseball. And by doing that, you got, if it's a Dusty's comment the other day, remember he was like, well, who I put in center field depends on what we need for that day. Well, if you struggle at home, Dusty, offensively, put in your offensive player. Mic drop.
There you go. All right. Well, look, here's the deal. I'm about to show y'all what Blake Snell's record and everything is against the Astros, because it's actually not as bad as you think. And I think the Astros,
they've lived.
I thought that he had. Yeah, I thought that he was a little bit ownage on us, but apparently not. So here it is.
Ownage, is that a word?
Yes, it's a word we use it in the 90s. Snell is 2-3 versus the Astros with the 6.11 ERA, 34 Ks, and 7 appearances. So he may be number 1 ranking right now. But remember, this Padres team is under 500.
Right.
Okay. And I haven't looked. I need to look at where they are the last 10 games or what they've been doing recently. But I'm not as worried about this Padres team this year right now as I was like in the past, pre-Tatis getting suspended. Like when, even with Juan Soto, even with.
You've got the whole thing about the Astros playing down to the competition. That's the thing. Like, I don't know if I believe that, but is that what happened with the Yankees?
Well, but the Yankees were hot. The Yankees were hot at the time. The Padres are 5-5 in their last 10 games. They've allowed 5 runs again. Okay, they have a plus 64. It's interesting. They have a plus 64 run differential, but they're 66 and 75. So they find ways to win games, I guess. On the road, they're 27 and 39. We are only 35 and 34. Yeah. So look, it's going to come down to what Mr. Bregman said, and we're going to keep saying on this show, it comes down to execution. You got to execute. And you've got to hope that the lineup that is out there is optimal. Okay. By the way, thank you. I am Amanda for that little stat. She threw that to me on Twitter, the stuff from Blake Snell. The Padres are under 500. They are 66 and 75. That is correct. So Mr. Corona says it's going to be a tough series. Look, it's not going to be easy, but I just don't think that it's a definite guarantee that the Astros, again, are going to go out and do what they did against the Yankees. I think it was a wake-up call, and I think they were kind of embarrassed by it because it was in front of their home crowd, and you want to give your home crowd something to talk about. It will be a close series. I think the Astros can take 2 of 3, but we have to let the games play out because we don't know what team is going to show up this Friday. And so I know everybody's like, Brett, this is going to be a tough series. I get it. I get what y'all are saying, but I still believe in this team over the other team.
The Astros against sub 500 teams are 40-43. Away, they are 45-27. At home, they are 35-34. If you look at the run differential, the Astros are -7 at home and add 7, so they are plus 131 on the road. So that just blows my mind. They're like one of 3 teams in MLB history to have such a big disparity.
It's
and they've got to
huge.
fix that if they want to win in playoffs, honestly.
No, exactly. And, with that being said, I still want them to win the division. I still want them to have a week off to set their lineup, to set their rotation and all that stuff.
They have to.
I think that gives them an advantage. A lot of people want them just to get in the wild card and like play 3 games on the road and just win those games and then do what they need to do. I think we end up facing the Baltimore Orioles in the ALCS if it were to end today, we would be the number 2 seed. We would play the winner of the Twins and the Blue Jays.
Right.
The Orioles would play the winner of the Rays and the Mariners. More than likely, we get past. I don't see the Twins winning a series. Sorry, Twins. I don't believe in y'all. I see us playing the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are a tough team this year, and I see us getting to the ALCS versus the Orioles. If we do against the Orioles, that's great. You know why? They have home field advantage. You know why? We're great on the road, just like you said. So I like our playoff hopes right now. If we drop to 4th or 5th, we're going to have to play the Orioles before we get to the LCS.
So, yeah. I have some closing thoughts, Brett. I think that if big boy Martin Maldonado continue hits like he does, and big boy Jose Abreu keeps on hitting, and almost no, he's not a big boy. But Jeremy Pena, I don't know what he's labeled as. He's almost
Jeremy Pena is a medium boy.
No, he's not even a medium boy. He's still a little boy because he's in his second year.
He's an approaching big boy.
Is he approaching? Oh, okay, so we're talking star scores now. We're approaching, and we're reaching grade level.
Meets grade level. Approaches.
Okay,
if y'all are
so
teachers,
we're
you know
waiting
what
for
we're saying.
Chaz McCormick to meet grade level. That's what we're doing. So, okay, Chaz McCormick, we got to wait till you get a certain age, then you can meet grade level. Then you can be a big boy. So that's what we're waiting for. Then you can get more playing time, or the Astros get a new manager.
So Justin Verlander's a big boy. Hunter Brown's approaching big boy. Pretty much every one of their pitchers is
Hunter Brown is not a big boy.
I know he's approaching.
No, he's not even in his second year.
Okay, so he's
still a baby boy.
He's a baby boy.
If you're looking at Dusty Baker's quality for a big boy, it's 3 to 4 years.
Or 18 extra pounds.
Or Yordan Alvarez crushing the ball, and he's a big boy instantly.
Big boy.
Jeremy Pena becoming ALCS MVP, World Series MVP, big boy.
It's like that kid. It's like that kid from the Little League a few years ago. He goes, I'm Big Al and I'm just here to hit dingers. I'm Big Chaz and I'm here to hit dingers.
There's a guy from Prison Break, the Cuban guy, but he played in some Little League movie, and and he was like, they said, wait, you're too old for this, and he had mustache and muscles, and they're like, but I have a birth certificate, and it's like, I'm 12 or something.
That's funny. Well, look, here's the deal. With all the big boy talk aside, the Astros are the big boys on the block. And Chaz, even if you're 12 pounds heavier, we love you, brother.
Yes, the Astros will be playing the Padres 7:10 Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search Astros, and we are going to be rooting on the big boy or non-big boy, whatever Chaz McCormick is, because we love Chaz McCormick. We love Yainer Diaz. We love this entire team, and we wanted this team to go back to the World Series. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey. We are the Locked On Astros podcast, and go Astros.
Let's get a big boy sponsorship out of this. Big boy burgers.
Are we big boys yet in this podcast yet?
I think I'm a big boy. I don't know about you.
No, I'm a big boy. You're not.